Getting people familiar and comfortable with using data to make decisions is a huge challenge, and uplifting the data literacy of everybody who works with and around data, which, as we all know, is becoming more and more people all the time. So I think a big challenge across all of government is people being open to learning about the importance and valuing data literacy. So for us, we're doing quite a number of projects with our data. So a big one for my team has been moving our data onto a data platform on AWS and transforming where our internal users get access to data. And as part of that process, we've been moving the people who consume our data products from Tableau into Power BI. And one of the huge benefits of that will be also our ability to share much more data publicly. So we already, as part of our day-to-day processes, we already make data available on data.gov.au, but now we'll be looking at how can we create data products and interactive data visualizations for people who want to interact with the IP system. So that's a huge project for us. And then the other big piece of work at the moment is looking at generative AI and how we might use that in our day-to-day business processes. So I've been working with an internal working group to understand how we might derive some value from that investigation. So from a user experience, often in the generative AI space, people are being able to work with content that they may have struggled to either find or create efficiently. So picking on something really simple like creating a position description, it might be that you need to go to a couple of locations in your file where you've previously created a position description, or ask somebody if they have a position description that you could use your new position description from. With generative AI, we can just ask the tool to create a position description from scratch, and it is often fairly accurate as a starting place. And so there's a lot of efficiency in helping the end users across the organisation to speed up a whole lot of their processes. Oh, look, that's a fantastic question. I think there's a massive opportunity to uplift capability in basic data skills across both government, but also people, citizens around Australia. There's some great projects that are happening in other states. I believe there's a Queensland AI Hub, and there's some work happening in Western Australia where they're really trying to engage people in data activities. IP Australia, we participated in the GovHack project, GovHack this year, which is an opportunity for anyone in Australia to participate in a competition to use government data to either unpack a particular challenge or to solve a particular problem. And that's one way where anyone can interact with data and get a little bit more familiar with it. So that's from a very sort of citizen perspective. From a government perspective, I think we need to have more leaders who value and trust data and who understand and appreciate the challenges in the data space, and understand that data plays a really important role in the decision-making processes, and I think that's a significant culture change across the public service. So as an organisation, we've been using AI for making decisions around our data before generative AI came around. So I have a data science team, I have machine learning experts, and to solve problems, there's machine learning techniques that have been in place for years. The generative AI opportunity and challenge is anyone can interact with a generative AI because it just uses natural language processing. And so you don't necessarily need to have the same level of data maturity as you would if you were a data scientist. And so there's a huge opportunity for people to get a lot more familiar with using this kind of technology that they otherwise probably wouldn't have thought about. However, there are considerations around ethical use, around privacy, around decision-making processes, and having an awareness of how you can use AI tools to support your decision-making processes and not depending solely on AI to make that decision-making process is a really important part of the process. But also safely exploring and playing and learning is part of that journey to be able to articulate what have you found and how has this been a safe or a non-safe experience. So maybe, as an example, a really simple example, if you're interacting with ChatGPT and you ask it to create an image of a group of people having a meeting, it will probably return to you an image that is largely white people, mostly men, with a few women. Now, you can interact with it and say, hey, make this a bit more diverse, and it does present you with a different image. And you can keep pushing that boundary around making sure that it's giving you a representation of what you're after. But knowing that it has some inherent bias built into it is also a really important part of the process. I think it's really important for people to hear about what other organisations are doing, and also, there's an opportunity to share both learning from some, not everyone has a successful use case, and hearing about how somebody might have tackled a particular problem in a different way, I think gives people an opportunity to try and challenge how things are being done. It's also really interesting to hear from the perspective of, I think, organisations like IP Australia that are a little bit more advanced in some of, particularly in the AI space than others, to demonstrate that this can be a capability that we use within government as well. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity both for, just hearing what other people are doing, but also taking away those learnings and applying them in your role. Even hearing as a speaker, and having people ask questions and ask questions in a way that you maybe hadn't thought about, or from their perspective, I think is an opportunity to think about the work and the activity that you're doing in your organisation, and think about how that might apply elsewhere is also valuable. But even just the corridor conversations that, as we chat over drinks and so forth around what we've learnt and how we can use it.